guys, come shopping with me at the Goodwill outlet. If you're a returning viewer or subscriber, thanks so much for subscribing. If you're new here, please subscribe for more content like this. I make a ton of different videos of me going to the Goodwill outlet, but that isn't the only kind of video I make. I make other thrifting videos. Sometimes I go scrapping, I try new food, subscribe in order to keep up with all of that. Comment down below what your favorite kind of activity to do is. My favorite kind of activity is either to go scrapping or to go to a thrift store. Both of those things are just so much fun, in my opinion, and they're both really low cost slash free activities besides like the overhead of having to pay for like a car and gas. And it's just something that I like to do to find different items to decorate with for cheap, or to find things that I can recycle slash upcycle into something else that I'd really like to wear. I'd say that a lot of my clothing items actually do come from a Goodwill or a similar thrift store these days, just because a lot of big box stores and some department stores and like fancier stores in a place where they have those kinds of stores definitely donate a bunch of their clothing items at the end of each season that don't necessarily get sold each season. And it's a write-off for them for their taxes, but for people like us, we really benefit because it's just kind of available at the store now, and you kind of just have to shift through all of this different stuff that you're seeing in the video in order to find those gems, but it is really well worth it. One thing I will say, though, is that the Goodwill outlet has become a lot pricier than it has been in the past. When I first started coming here, clothing was like 69 cents a pound, and the bulkier items were like 79 cents a pound, and they recently changed their prices to $1.99 per pound, which in my opinion makes the Goodwill outlet not really that attractive as a place to buy clothing items anymore. I mean, it's still really cheap, but honestly, you can find better deals at other stores for that have like used goods and stuff like that, like other thrift stores. The Goodwill outlet's main allure was being able to find a bunch of different items for almost nothing because of the per pound pricing that they have. And now that they're kind of going away from that slash making per pound just a little bit too expensive, I've noticed that the Goodwill outlet is not as well shopped anymore. Like, I went on a Saturday and it was really just not that full, whereas in the past whenever I've gone, it would really, like, literally you couldn't walk in the aisles. There were so many people there, and it just doesn't make you feel like you're finding that much of a deal, because like you're literally sorting through a bunch of junk in order to find like a few good items, whereas you could pay very similar prices at other thrift stores and get the items without having to like shift through all of this junk. So it is a double-edged sword. So, I'm on the lookout for other good thrift stores and stuff. So if you guys have any, drop those suggestions down below. This video is actually taken a couple of months ago when I was still visiting my parents back down in my hometown. And I would say that their thrifting experience is not that great as it is where I am now. I live in a fairly large city with a lot of big stores and stuff nearby, so all of those stores tend to donate their goods to Goodwill or other thrift stores at the end of a season, whereas down there it's mostly just people donating whatever they can to those stores. So there's definitely a big difference in the amount of stuff that you can find and the quality of stuff. Because up here, I've noticed that I can often find brand new things, even with the tag on them, which is really surprising, for literally almost no effort at all. Whereas here, you really have to dig through a bunch of stuff in order to find something that may look good on you and may be unused. So it's definitely dependent on where you go and where you're living living. But if you're in an area with a Goodwill outlet, I would recommend just going down and trying, because there's no harm in trying, right? And you might find something really great. I'd say that over 50% of my closet is actually made up of Goodwill clothing items, just because I go here really, really often and there's always a bunch of different stuff that is just kind of available. It's one of my favorite stores to thrift at, although I would not say it's my favorite, especially after the price increases that they have. Another really great thing about the Goodwill outlet is that you can really find anything that you want. They mostly do have different stores slash bins for their clothing items. That definitely isn't the only thing that they have available. A lot of different kinds of furniture and like electronic goods come through the Goodwill outlet on their way to Asia or wherever Goodwill sends its stuff if it doesn't get sold. So I found a bunch of really cool stuff, including like the original iPhone, which is really, really cool. I didn't end up getting it because I'm just not one of those people who collects like old technology and stuff. But if you are, keep an eye out whenever you do go to a Goodwill outlet, because I have found a ton of old tech items there, and I know that some of it is really valuable. And if you're like an eBay seller or a Facebook Marketplace seller, or like you just like to sell stuff online, you can definitely find a bunch of really cool stuff at the Goodwill outlet. Another place that I went to that isn't related to the Goodwill outlet is the Salvation Army, which is another store that I feel is raising their prices. I've noticed that at a lot of different thrift stores lately, and it's making me like kind of sussed out, because it's a thrift store, so you shouldn't be raising your prices, but whatever. But yeah, I was at the Salvation Army again with my mom because I was visiting them down there, and I was really surprised at the variety of things that they were selling. Like, I've been in a Salvation Army before, obviously, but they've really stepped up their game. Like, they're selling so many more things, not just like clothing items or just like miscellaneous items, but I've seen them selling like mattresses and like TVs and stuff now too, which I'm really surprised by. And I think that that's really cool. You totally could get away with just getting all your items from like thrift stores and Goodwill outlets and stuff and decorating your brand new home. That's actually a goal of mine whenever I go to another new apartment, to find everything to decorate that apartment through a thrift store. That is all for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe for more content like this, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!